on, young boy. What's up?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Run, Forrest, run. Yeah, game over. Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Oh, Mark.
That's right, mate. Good thing you're faster than I am.
This time on Graveyard Cars.
Gonna try my engine on this? When you do mine, we'll have to bolt it to the floor because it'll just rip this thing to pieces.
You can't really use a squeegee on that black anymore, so you need your bubbles out now.
You want to go ahead and grab the impact gun?
It just jumps a little bit and then it starts to smoke.
Now what's wrong?
You ruined it.
If that's why you're creeping towards the door, that's absolutely not gonna happen.
I gotta go.
I'm gonna bust every tooth out of your head. Do you or do you not like chewing food?
Yeah.
I actually feel really scared for Mark.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Got that car coming to get you, Barbara.
The unburied dead are coming back to life.
My name is Mark Warman. I work with my worst enemy, Daren Kirkpatrick.
Give me a gun!
And my son-in-law, Josh. Whoa! Along with my best friend, Royal. Well, all right. And our newest team member, Holly.
This is exciting.
We bring dead cars back to life. If we don't kill each other.
Oh, Mark! Oh. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
This station will remain on the air until life.
You know that 3-foot rule I told you about? Come on, man.
It's nothing to do with you guys. So just keep on trucking.
What's in the boxes, Mark?
Supplies, buddy. I bought a whole bunch of supplies. I got tired of
Oh,
you guys
good, I'm
going for
getting low at
You're
home.
yeah, you can steal some like you do everything else you do around here, you shoplifter.
No, it's just
How's
because
your-
it's a way of getting paid.
How's your face?
Oh, Mark. Oh, Mark. Hurts a little bit.
Good.
At least mine will heal. Yours, there's no hope for yours.
Is that it? That's your whole
You
comeback?
seen your nose?
That's your comeback?
You seen the nose? There's not a comeback.
The overstock boxes are for a project I've been working on for a while. It's a big project. It's none of their business, and I certainly don't want to share it with them when they're in the middle of crunch time on getting a car finished. I got business to. You go.
Okay. What do you want to do? Go take a nap?
Yeah. That actually sounds real good
Well, I
right
think
now.
Royal's taking a nap.
Welbies. I'm trusting Josh to work with Holly and actually take his time and help teach her how to dissect the rear axle assembly for the Barracuda convertible. Meanwhile, I'm going to work with Daren on getting the 440 up on the Easy Run engine stand so we can fire it off for its maiden voyage. So the other day I got the engine painted and I decided I'd just go ahead and put it together over the weekend. So basically what I've done is I put all the rest of the exterior bolt-on items on it. This is the correct original distributor for it. It has the vacuum advance as well as the retarding device on the side of it. These are the original heater hoses. If you look carefully at these, you'll see that they actually have original Chrysler Pentastar on it as well as the part number. These are the original replica Chrysler suppression wires with the correct date code of the 3rd quarter on them. The cap is supposed to be black, the rest of the engine is supposed to be orange. There are a couple of things I'll have to change is once I get everything in is I just got the correct tri-rib PCV valve. That was on the engine when it got painted originally, so I'll have to mask this off and I'll have to paint that. Dipstick tube itself originally was not installed when they were painted, so that is bare metal, but the actual handle itself, I do still have to paint it. I'll do it orange when I'm doing this. I left the clutch fan off of it because we just got a new Easy Run engine stand, and this motor is going to be, for the very first time at Graveyard Cars, it's going to be initially started before it actually goes in the car. So you do have to leave some things off to do that. Power steering pump is in place. This is the correct original one. As a replica of the original heater hose bracket right here. The belt will be changed when my date-coded ones come in. This is just something to make it start and run for the run stand. People, when they first see one of these motors painted with the acrylic urethane that we use, they say it's too glossy. And right now it is a little shinier than the factory would have been. But I've learned that if you paint it with a enamel, an air dry enamel that's already kind of a semi-flat finish or an eggshell finish, it gets even worse when the engine is hot and cool, hot and cool. Now it started out too glossy, but within 6 months of driving, the paint will die down, everything will suck back to an original type of a sheen. So just make sure, don't be afraid to get it too glossy in the beginning, because after a few months of use, it's going to look the way it did on the assembly line. I'm gonna get it moved out to the shop so I can get it loaded up on the shop crane and installed on our new Easy Run engine stand. The fact is we've never had an engine run stand before, but I have always wanted one. The Easy Run stand I think is gonna make life a lot easier around here when it comes to having to fix little things. You're putting an engine together that has 1,000 parts on it. Could something be put in wrong or backwards? We're human. But when you can start an engine up on a stand where it's all exposed, correct whatever little problems it has, and then it can go in the car officially and fire right off, you just save time and money. What can you say about that? So right now we're at the funnest part of the build on any car. The Challenger is out getting the underside of the hood jammed in, and while he's doing that, I'm going to take a minute to show you guys how the proper installation of a V21 hood decal is applied. When they're making a decal, when they're cutting it, they don't really care how much backing paper shows. So in this case, you've got what, maybe 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches, and over here you got 3/4 of an inch. If you put this decal on and you were lining up this white part, you'd be in big trouble. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually peel the backing paper off of it, so I'm just working with the decal. But in order to do that, you have to have a really wet solution that takes a long time to dry. That way you can move your decal around, take your time, not panic, and put it exactly where it belongs. I always love our Phoenix Graphics. They're the best company making these. I can call up and I can say I'd like a fresh cut. He always gives me a fresh cut. It's like a Christmas tree, so I'm not dealing with a decal that's 6 months old or a year old. The other thing you want to make sure of, this is a tack cloth. It's designed to remove lint. It's got like a little sticky type of product on it. And so any lint that's on this hood could be underneath that blackout. And if it was underneath that blackout, it would show up like a sore thumb. So this is a solution I mix up myself. In this case, it's just dishwashing soap. It's a very small few drops of dishwashing soap in with water. And I know the consistency I'm looking for. If this was a really small decal, I wouldn't have nearly as much soap in it as I have. But because it's a huge decal and because it's gonna dry in different areas, I wanna make sure I got time to move that decal around. It's just such a big decal, it's too hard for one person to hold on to it. And if you drop it on the ground without soap on it, you're gonna get dirt on the back of your decal. So as soon as you start revealing that glue, you want to get it wet. So if it fell out of your hand and hit the ground, you could take it to the sink and rinse the dirt off the end. And we're just going to lay it on there like that. So since I have lots of soap, lots of water on there, it gives me a lot of time to play with it. You want to line this up with the front edge of the hood, and you want to start working on your side to sides. Depending on the amount of body work that's been done on a hood, that hood could be a little wider, a little narrower, the paint buildup on it. So you don't want to go with a predetermined number, you just want it centered. That's your job. Just get some of that water and that soap out of there so it doesn't slide as easy, because you know that you're set up here at the front. So just kind of give it that. Then you can go to the back, double check it. 7 inches to there, 7 inches to there. We're good. So now I'm in a position where I can very carefully start working some of this from the inside out. If you start in the middle and work your way out, you won't have those air bubbles. One of the biggest mistakes people do is they want this end wrapped. They want it wrapped faster. They want to be done. They want to go brag about how awesome it is. It takes time. You see back here where I squeegeed those out? Because of the shape, this thing has to conform to the hood. So it's going to pull back. It's going to fight it, because this decal was rolled up in a box 15 minutes ago. So just don't be in a hurry. It takes time. There's a protective film over the top of this. That's why I'm not scratching that decal up. Once you take that protective film off, you can't really use a squeegee on that black anymore. So you need your bubbles out now. True or false? The only year you could order a Plymouth Barracuda with a convertible top and a 426 Hemi was 1970. Stay tuned for the answer, coming up after the break. So was 1970 the only year you could get a Plymouth Barracuda convertible with a 426 Hemi? The answer is false. While the numbers declined considerably in 1971 across the board for all muscle cars, Chrysler did build 11 1971 Cuda convertibles optioned with the 426 Hemi. With only 11 made, these are the most desirable Mopar muscle cars of all time. The most recent one was sold at auction for over $2 million. Visit graveyardcars.com to learn more. I've been getting a bunch of deliveries from Overstock.com, and the guys are starting to get suspicious. I got the engine for the 70 Sunroof Challenger assembled and ready to hook up on the brand new Easy Run engine stand. And I'm half done with the V21 blackout on the Challenger hood. Okay, so I've let the decal set for about 4 hours now. Usually it's recommended a couple hours. I've just learned over the years, the longer it sets, the more time the vapors and the soaps and things like that have to evaporate out. So it guarantees you a better reveal when you start pulling the backing paper off. So when you do start with the backing paper, I always recommend starting in a corner, not in the middle. Grab it on the corner, and what you're going to want to do is as you begin to pull the backing off of the black, you're going to want to watch for any lifting. Keep the backing paper, the stuff that you squeegeed, keep it parallel with the panel that you're pulling it off of. So I like to just literally press it down against the area, and I go very, very slow. If I see signs of trouble, you stop. The black decal or whatever color it is, it'll be a little wet underneath there, which will mask or camouflage an actual bubble in there. So you want to dry it off. That's why you see me blowing on it as I pull this paper back. I'm looking for the slightest bubble. You do get bubbles. You should only get a few. Don't panic. Let it set a day or two. Those bubbles usually work themselves out. A couple little bubbles, not much, not much, not much. There we go. Right there, you have a half a dozen little air bubbles. No worries, let it set. Most of those will evaporate out. If they don't evaporate out, it most likely means that there's an imperfection underneath it, like a little dust bunny, little speck, at which point you're gonna live with it. But if it's got air under it, it will evaporate out. If it doesn't evaporate, you can poke it with a pin. But overall, when you stand back and look, it should look pretty amazing like that does. Tweedledum. Missed you this
No, it's
weekend.
Daren.
So while you were playing house, I got the motor all decked out, got everything on it. This thing's basically ready to run. I put the engine run stand together.
Oh, that's not a Mopar color.
I don't care what color the engine run stand is. I didn't order it in a Mopar color. I doubt very much it's available in FC7 or EV2. No, I don't think I specially requested a Mopar color in this
Looks
case.
like Chevrolet red to me.
You know, this engine run stand is probably one of the nicest pieces of equipment we've ever added to graveyard cars. It's gonna save us time and save us money. But the bug-eyed squirrel turd, he has to come flying in and take a big old dookie on everything I'm doing.
Gonna try my engine on this?
Yeah, someday we'll put your
We
engine
do
on
mine, we'll have
that.
to bolt it to the floor because it'll just rip this thing to pieces.
Anyway, while you're home playing house this weekend, I got everything.
Really? I was
Everything
playing
done.
house.
I got the motor, I got the mounts already on it that are correct for the engine run. Okay, I've got everything set up here. See the way the engine's facing? So this cart needs to be facing the same way.
You know, I'm like, you need my help like I'm like the astronaut. You're the one that sits back at the control panel, right?
I don't know what all that means.
You know, you're not very important, okay?
Okay, why don't you go up a little bit with the motor?
I'd hate that thing to fall.
I don't think it's gonna fall.
Well, I don't think so.
Unless you want me to have Tim from Shop Crane come back out and kick a mud hole in your back.
Yeah, that might. That's not gonna happen, I don't think.
You sure straightened out when he got you last
I
time
don't think
out.
so.
Last time Tim from Shop Crane was out here, it took him 30 seconds to square Daren up and realized that he absolutely contributes nothing to the progression of graveyard cars.
I don't think so, Tim. He comes on here, he's a big football star. I played football just college, and I'm big and tough and all this stuff, you know.
How are you, man?
Good, how are you? It's nice to see you.
So why don't you let it down slow?
What holds the back?
Huh?
What holds the back up?
The transmission. Oh, yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. Yeah. Anyway, while you're home playing house this weekend, I got everything.
Really?
Everything done. Well,
No, it's
don't
okay,
laugh.
buddy.
I've
No, I
got
don't
cover
know.
1,000 things.
I don't know.
Today, Josh and I are going to work on the rear suspension of a 1970 Barracuda. I'm really excited to kind of get my hands dirty and learn about how everything's put together.
I am going to show you how to disassemble. First and foremost, note-taking. Most important, vital key that I've learned whenever you're dissecting and disassembling something. I don't really know how this is gonna go, but I'm an optimistic person, and to be honest, I think Holly's gonna do great. There's gonna be important markings on here unless it's, you know, completely thrashed and tattered and you just can't see anything. And then whenever you jot down your notes, always be very specific about where it's at. This would be the driver's side here, so the left-hand side. The fella that owned this did some burnouts, and then on that tire,
There's nothing.
not so much. Yeah, and then you can just spin it.
Interesting.
And yeah, usually
So
whenever
can you spin this one?
right.
Yeah.
And see, yeah, because if it was what they would call a sure grip, both of them would spin at the same time. So there's power going to both wheels.
Right. The first thing that Josh had me do today was scrape off all the grime and gunk off of the rear suspension to see if there was any special markings.
Yeah, so like that guy right there. Kind of looks like it's an H. On the assembly line, this was a paint marking, and they did this to indicate to other people up the assembly line that it was either a specific kind of rear end or that something had been changed in it. It could be all sorts of different things.
And so are they usually just right here, or can they be like on?
Oh yeah, they can
every
be
place?
anywhere. I've seen markings in the very center here going across. I've seen ones at the very bottom. And then usually I just kind of draw a quick little sketch of the rear end outline. So I'll just mark an H on there. Oh, like right there, there's a yellow dot right on the very top of the third member.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and put the marking that we found here. Yeah, it can be a long process.
Now is a great time to keep pushing through.
Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Darren ruined Christmas for his family when he was growing up.
Why you gotta strike out at me?
$100. Josh has been working with Holly on the ins and outs, disassembly, and documentation of the rear axle for the Cook 70 Barracuda. While Derek got the Sunroof Challenger jammed, I got the V21 decal installed on it, and it's perfect. Right, okay, go up. You're like a child with that thing. Okay, right there.
How far? Oh, right. You want down a little bit? Well, make up
If you
your
don't
mind.
keep going
make
up and
up
down,
your
if you
mind.
keep going up and down with it, I'm gonna punch your face in.
Make up your mind, buddy. Want to put the bell housing on, buddy?
Yeah, put the bell housing starter on.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Go down slow, buddy. Hold.
Plenty of room back here.
Somebody says hold it. That means slow down a little bit, okay? Whoa!
You saw what I did. You can whoa ho ho till the cows
Well, why do
come
you do it
home.
so fast?
You saw what I did. I touched it.
Okay.
Let's plumb it out. I've got everything. I built a set of pipes for it. I've got everything sitting on the shelf. Let's get it plumbed out. In spite of Darren's efforts to slow everything down, we actually got the motor on the stand. It's all bolted down and secured, so all that's left is plumbing out the cooling, the different leads for the temperature, for the oil pressure, and putting the starter connections together, hooking up the fuel, and it should be ready to run. I'm going to use an original Mopar heater hose bracket
It's a
back
repop.
here.
It's a reproduction.
It's a reproduction of the original one.
It's a repop.
Sure wish you cared about everything else as much.
I don't. You know what? I quit caring after I got shot in the face the second time.
Well,
You know what I mean?
keep it up.
Cheap
you might
shot.
just
You're
might
a cheap
just get
shot
shot.
artist. You're a cheap shot.
You might just get shot again, Chief.
No. You do know there was almost a year to the day you shot me with the paintball gun, right?
No.
You don't shoot an unarmed person, Mark. You son of ah!
Nor do I care.
Mark, you need to care about something besides
Then you
yourself.
need to care too.
I quit
That's my
caring when you
point.
shoot people in the
You don't
face.
want to learn anything.
quit-
You don't care if
quit.
you know anything. You just run around feeling sorry for yourself. It gets boring, man.
So a lot of the times too, these things are just completely seized in place. They're rusted on, they're aged, they're gonna give you hell.
Okay.
So what I do is I'll just usually test it and see how it's gonna work. And what it does whenever you heat them up is it'll expand the nut. Pull the trigger and it should just walk it right off. That light blue flame that's coming out there in the middle, the smaller, the better.
Okay.
So it's gonna burn hotter. And actually, if you wanna go ahead and grab the impact gun,
Okay.
and I'll just heat this guy up. And this guy's gonna start turning red hot.
Okay. So the next thing that we did was disassemble the leaf springs using a blowtorch to loosen up the bolts.
Okay, that should be good. I'm actually really impressed by the way that she's handling everything. She hopped right in. She's getting her hands dirty. Very nice. And that puppy's gonna be real hot, so watch your toes.
Okay. It was awesome to work with Josh. He walked me through everything step by step, was really patient.
She's got a perfect teacher. Compared to Mark, she doesn't have somebody sitting there contradicting everything she does, being condescending on top of that, calling her long turd or stork or woolly mammoth, whatever. So yeah, and then we got to do this 7 more times.
Okay.
I saw Holly. What's she doing here?
Well, as I was saying again, Rain Man, she is working with Josh on documenting the front and rear suspension on the Cook's Barracuda. Have you just been
Who's helping who on that?
Josh is teaching her what I've taught him.
Oh, that's scary.
I like running the Comp 750 on the initial startup of an engine. It's never let me down. I know it's a good running carburetor, so if I have runnability problems on the stand, I'll know it's not the carburetor. Once we have the engine off of the engine run stand, if everything checks out, I'll take it off and put on the ABS carburetor. Exhaust, fuel, distributor, carburetor, throttle, brackets, filter, hoses, water pump. All it needs is oil and water and it's ready to run. You just threw that at me. Okay, here we go. $100. $100. Not on the first crank, just the first couple of seconds.
The engine didn't start like he said it would, or promised it would. He bet $100. He owes me $100.
Mother. The only reason the engine didn't fire off on the very first bump, which is also why Daren took the $100 bet, he had disconnected the positive wire to the coil, so it had no power to it. I didn't know that because I'm on this side of the engine and I can't see it. You're so jealous. You're so jealous.
Of what?
The bet doesn't. Now if it starts on the first
There's no
crank.
bet.
Yeah.
You already bet. You lost.
You took the wire off to the
Nobody
coil.
said I couldn't. Still isn't going to start. Oh, boy. Now what's wrong?
You ruined it.
I ruined it.
Daren ruined it. That's what he wanted to do, and he did it. Just like he ruined Christmas for his family when he was growing up.
Righty tighty, lefty
right.
loosey.
Absolutely correct. All right. So now that that's done, start pulling things out here. The 11-inch brakes had cooling fins on them. And this guy right here, this is the axle. And now
Okay.
we can take this guy and just flip it up just like that.
Did I question myself when it didn't start? No, I don't question myself. It did seem a little bit weird because I had everything dialed in on it. But then, of course, Operation Daren comes into full effect and makes perfect sense. We lost all the power to the unit.
Sounds like a personal problem.
God, if you hadn't just around with it.
I didn't touch it.
You disconnected
Except for
the
that.
wire.
That's all I did.
Then
okay?
it just blew a fuse. So when I reached over to disconnect it from the coil wire that he had it hooked to and actually put it on the coil itself, I touched the ground right next to it and it popped the fuse underneath the chassis. Okay, that was a practical joke, but you should have told me so I didn't arc it out and blow the
You arced
fuse,
it out?
so now I
Are
can't.
you sure you arced it out?
It had power a second ago, it has no power now. So unless it's got a circuit breaker, it must have a fuse. The only reason I'm laying
That's
on
the
my back
problem.
right now is because
It's got
Daren
a
had to
blown
play the
fuse.
game.
Mark and always goofing around, you know. This fuse just cost him $100.
Our Dodge Challenger RT came from the factory with a 440 Magnum. If you had ordered a Plymouth Cuda with the exact same 440 high-performance engine, they would have called it by a different name. What did Plymouth call their 440 high-performance engine? Was it the 440 Ram Charger, 440 Super Commando, 440 TNT? Find out after the break. So what did Plymouth call their 440 high-performance engine? Well, the TNT, that was Chrysler's high-performance engine. If you had an Imperial, you would have had the TNT 440. A Ram Charger was a hood, a cold air induction hood on the Dodge products in the late 60s and early 70s. That leaves only the Plymouth Super Commando. Available in both the 383 and the 440 Super Commando, that was what Plymouth referred to as their high-performance B and RB engines. Visit graveyardcars.com to learn more. Daren tried to beat me out of $100 by sabotaging the Challenger engine. Meanwhile, Longturd and Holly disassembled and documented the 70 Barracuda rear axle assembly.
Now that Josh and I have completely disassembled the rear suspension, we are going to take it to get pressure washed with the Aladdin pressure washer.
Hold on tight, there's a lot of bumps.
Okay.
The brakes don't work so well.
The brakes don't work?
No.
All right. All right.
E-brake. Pure degreasing solution. 'Cause it'll loosen all this stuff up. This is our Aladdin pressure washer. This thing works wonders, and it has saved my butt many of times. Click that puppy on, and then obviously you can hear it. And it is diesel powered. So that's what causes the heat. And then I'm gonna turn the burner on, and it's gonna take a few seconds for the hot water to cycle through. So if you want, just hold the gun straight up in the air and let the hot water cycle through so we're not spraying all the degreasing solution on.
Okay.
Go for it. I'm actually very impressed with Holly's performance today. She got down there and got her hands dirty. She asked a lot of questions. She just got in there and did a great job.
It's the plastic one. It's got a little plastic housing and 2 tongs that push in. It's a 30 amp. I don't know what color it is. Okay, it's amber or gold or brown. I'm colorblind. Yeah, just pushes right in. Got a tong on each side. I don't need a box of them. I'll take 2 of them. God help me. Why do I have to contend with him constantly?
Daren.
Yep. Just driving me crazy. Why would you do that to a brand new machine? Why? Did you see what he did? He tried to play a practical joke. But it's not a practical joke when you fry out a fuse. If he would have just told me, I would have been... All right. Anyway, how'd Holly do?
Holly did splendid.
Did she? Okay.
She did great.
You documented everything?
I did.
She knows what you were looking for? That you didn't go bug man on her or anything when you were crouched in the damn dirt looking for an old bug or something?
Yeah, she did good.
So the main thing I wanted to make sure of was that she'll learn how to take things apart. I want her to make sure she knew how to document it. So you guys took lots of pictures and you showed her what they actually meant. So you went like usually there's an F for 70 code and there's 3-digit date numbers. You got all those and you got the colors. Okay, yep. Fantastic.
Yeah, and I also sketched out parts of the rear end. So I would draw, identical part for part sketch, where everything was on there.
I don't know what all that means.
And then on top of that, I took pictures. So I've got all my bases covered.
So you doodled some pictures. Okay. Let's go work on some cars, fool.
I told you that I had a barbecue to go to, a family barbecue.
You never said that. And if that's why you're creeping towards the door, that's absolutely not going to happen.
Well, I gotta go.
What are you supposed to be going to do right now? What are you supposed to be going to do?
Spending time with my daughter and my family.
And you planned that a month ago?
Yes, it's a big deal. Big deal. I know you're stressed.
If you're going to take time off, I want it in writing from now on.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it works.
You don't wipe one time and hope you got it all right. You want to be sure. You wipe 2, 3, 4 times.
It's a lot of wipes, dude.
Why like a cling bunghole?
Who doesn't? See ya, freak.
Judas.
Looks like we're getting ready to put the sunroof in. I've never seen a Challenger with a sunroof. Yeah, I've seen aftermarket moonroofs, I guess you call them, but never a factory sunroof in one of these.
The sunroof has been giving Mark and Royal a lot of trouble. They've worked on it for a long time. Mark, I was looking at the sunroof out back, the roof assembly. This is supposed to be black in here. Black. This is purple.
Okay.
Maybe that's why Mark's so flustered and frustrated, because he's really not in a very good mood. You gonna do this black?
Yeah, I am. If it's supposed to be. I don't know those things, okay? I just got that roof a couple of weeks ago.
You not look at it and see it's black in here?
Every day when I wake up, I say a series of prayers for my mom, for my sister, for my niece, for my wife, for my daughter, and then I say a little extra one to God for only making one Daren Kirkpatrick. Because honestly, The world could not endure another Daren Kirkpatrick.
I don't know. I'm just
I don't know if
asking
it's
a
supposed to
question.
be painted now.
Why are you
Okay, I
striking
just
out?
got the roof. I don't know if it's supposed to be vinyl. When we did the vinyl top, I didn't have the other roof. There isn't a whole lot of them out there to go look at. You're sure as hell doesn't have a hole in the roof,
Why are you
does
gonna
it?
strike out at me?
I don't know if it necessarily matters that on the day Daren was born, the moon turned to blood, the sky turned black, the oceans boiled. His mom had 4 choices to name him, which was war, pestilence, famine, and death. And I think probably they ended up going with Daren just because they probably couldn't get him out of the hospital with one of those 4 names. But it is ironic that his middle initial is D.
I feel like I'm walking on eggshells today a little bit. Mark and Daren were already going at it. He jumped me when I came in.
Man,
Chrome
that's the
dome.
question.
What did I do? I didn't even do anything.
You didn't do anything. I just want to know how the spark goes in. And
That's what
try
I'm
it.
trying to. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to
Okay.
get an idea how it works.
I'm going to make you a deal.
Might give me a better.
Excuse me, I need just 1 second. I didn't mean to lash out at you. I'm going to bust every tooth out of your head, and I'm going to piss in your dead skull if you say anything negative, again, even one little negative thing throughout the operation of this sunroof, because this is delicate stuff. It's hard. I don't know exactly what I'm doing on it, and I don't need you bat-faced gorilla, coming at me when I'm trying to do my job. So do you like your teeth? Do you like chewing food?
Okay, can I make a deal
Do
with
you or
then?
do you not like chewing food?
Yes.
My suggestion is nothing negative.
Okay.
Okay, let's
Can I
put
ask
this
you a
thing
couple
together.
questions
You
about
can
it or
ask
not?
any questions you want as long as they don't sound like you're putting me or the car down.
Is that supposed to be black underneath there or not? Around there. That's not negative.
How do I know?
We'll find out later.
Hey, there you go. So the first thing that has to go in is our headliner piece. And it just goes way to the back. So this piece, if somebody wants to go on the other side, roll over.
Well, you got chrome dome over there.
Don't call my friend Chrome Dome. Okay, if anybody's gonna
You
insult
do.
his head, it's gonna be me.
Okay, this is gonna go where?
Down in here.
Okay.
Is that the right way?
They want it out of the way
Okay.
before you put that lid in. Okay?
When are we gonna
That's
get my
what hooks
vinyl
the
roof
panel,
installed,
right?
Mark?
No.
Are you ready to start on my car pretty quick? Anything with it? Dang it, I broke it. Now I got your attention. When are we gonna do something on my car? Hello? Have any idea at all?
What do you want from me?
Just an idea about when we might start on my car.
Never.
That's all.
Never, so deal with it, okay? I invited you down last weekend to work on it.
I've
You
been
didn't want to
dealing
show
with
up.
it
You
for a
said you had to
couple
go
years.
camping or some existential thing. Enjoy your camping trip. I don't care what you do.
Where's Josh?
He's supposed to be here. He manufactured a reason. He uses Emma
No,
as an
his
excuse.
family comes first in his life.
Swimming comes over this? No, you just answer it, please. I'd like the world to know how
His
you
family
feel.
comes first.
No. Does swimming come
If that involves
first
his
before
family
your
and nobody
job?
else was there to watch little Emma, yes.
Emma didn't have to go swimming.
Was Emma gonna be down here helping?
Emma didn't have to go swimming, though. That's what tomorrow's for. That's what Sunday's for. Look at who I'm talking to.
Oh,
The guy who
give
hasn't
the-
worked since Carter was president.
Give the kid a break.
Yeah, Mark, let him go.
I give him breaks all the time, Chrome
What?
Dome. I give them to him all the time.
Does it make you right because you yell?
Oh man.
Daren, do me a favor. Just shut up. Fact is, these are just difficult to do. I've never done a sunroof before. We do have a manual for it, but still, even following the instructions, there are just certain things, like with anything mechanical, that you have to figure out in your head, and that's what's taken us a little longer than usual. The good news is we had everything. We got the new cables, so it can go together, but just figuring out those last little pieces and which way the cable goes, which one rides over and under, that's just taken us a little while, but we'll have it here shortly. Once we got into a rhythm on the sunroof car, things were going really smooth. It looked like we were going to get across the finish line by the end of the day. We were starting to make some progress when all of a sudden,
Well, I gotta go. I gotta go to work.
bullshit, you never said that.
Do I have to tell you everything?
You have to tell me if you're going to take off.
You said that
Well,
earlier.
I came
did
here and
not.
helped.
Dadgummit. I have to take that back out.
Let's take it out then.
Royal's the only guy at Graveyard Cars with a brain besides myself. I need him to put that sunroof together with me. Josh is out playing house, so he's of no help at all with my granddaughter. Putting a sunroof in a 70 Challenger that's worth over 6 figures is way above his pay grade. So I think what I'm gonna do is slow down, regroup, send Daren home, let Josh know I need him first thing in the morning, and then tomorrow we'll have a fresh start at getting this thing put together. This car is just looking gorgeous and is going to leave as a completely restored original 70 Challenger. If it starts on the first crank, you owe me 100 clams.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Josh and Royal went AWOL. I'm still fighting with Daren tooth and nail to get the engine fired up for the Challenger on the new Easy Run engine stand. But the worst part is I can't troubleshoot the problem with the sunroof with Frankenturd torturing me. Self-indulgence, the most ridiculous self-indulgent music. He thinks
that's
he's John
ridiculous.
McClane getting off at the Nakatomi Towers, the 30th floor.
Make a knock
That's
him
my
off the
montage
30th
music?
Floor.
Why are you
Can't make it
doing
like
that?
Megadeth or something?
What'd you bring me? And why are you here? Give it to me.
Don't take this one. That's all I'm going to say.
Give me, give me, give me. Did you,
You have chose wisely.
you know I like iced.
Well, drink up, it might be.
It's hot, fool.
Come here, Daren, you want one?
Sure.
Look, I came to apologize about the whole deal with M's.
Well, you should.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I had
What does
fun.
that mean?
Well, I put you in a bind. I had a
And
blast, though.
don't ruin
This
it.
one.
You are sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like my forgiveness.
Yes, that's why I came bearing Dutch Brothers. All is forgiven?
Why would you get me a hot one? You know I like ice. You know, now that I got a little caffeine and Judas came back, I think we can get some work done on the sunroof car.
You know you got one coming, don't you?
I don't know what that means.
For the little shot in the face today with the dart.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Oh, Mark.
Well, don't play. If you don't want to
I
play,
wasn't
don't
playing.
play.
I would think I was just sitting there, wasn't
My
I?
advice is not to play.
Well, you got one coming,
If you want
okay?
to dance with the devil, you're going to have to put on your dancing
Nope, you got
shoes.
one coming.
I actually feel really scared for Mark, to be honest with you. Daren, he's a loose cannon. Daren seems like the kind of guy, you know, you walk out to your car at the end of the day, and he's sitting there waiting for you to notice your pop tires. I got you good, buddy. One of these days, he's gonna snap, and I think he's already plotting on it, to be honest.
You know, I'm going to get even with Mark for shooting me in the face with that dart gun. That was sort of a cheap shot, but you know, that's how he operates.
Doesn't have a good connection or a good ground. Hang on. Jiggle that ground over there.
I think eventually the sunroof's going to work. I think it's going to be a lot of tinkering and everything with it. And hopefully after as much time as they spend on it, I would hope the shot it would work.
That's all it does. It just jumps a little bit and then it starts to smoke.
So is this the first time you've tried it out?
Yeah, it wouldn't move before. It was in too much of a bind. So I had to loosen all the tracks up and reset the adjustment on the heights in the back and the height in the front and the side to side. And now it's actually working like it's supposed to. And I don't think that's fully charged, so.
I have full faith in Mark getting this thing completely restored. And to be honest, I think it will happen here very soon.
That battery's low, but it still almost pulled it completely shut. I had to give it a little push right there at the back. How about that?
Well, you know, I'm glad the sunroof is working. You know, finally, after all those days Royal and Mark worked on it, I'm just glad it's done so they can actually move on to another project on the car. It took them forever to do one small little item. It's a sunroof. They're not built on a rocket.
I can't believe how well the thing actually works. So very proud of you. As a matter of fact, right now,
that? What
do you gotta say about
that?
I'm gonna go buy you an ice
feel like-
cream cone.
Bottom line is I couldn't be happier with the sunroof. Absolutely elated, and it's functioning the way it's supposed to. So yeah, just bring that down just a hair in the back, and I think I've got the perfect alignment on the back. The front is absolutely amazing.
That looks good, Mark. You did a good job.
I have the V21 blackout done on the hood. It's all cured out. I want to bring that in, put it on the car. That's going to wrap up the front end of it. This car is just looking gorgeous. It's really taken shape. I'm very proud of the fact that this car came in as a basket case and is going to leave as a completely restored original 70 Challenger. Nice.
Not bad, man.
No,
Wow, I like it.
I'll do the final alignment when we paint the bolts, and that's it. Nice work.
That looks nice.
Let's go build the suspension, ladies. We have the sunroof installed and fully functional on the car. We have the hood on the car. Now is a great time to keep pushing through and get ready to start putting the final assembly together on our Sunroof Challenger. Now, to back up. Nothing has changed except that I've replaced the fuse that you caused me to blow. If it starts on the first crank, that was the deal, you owe me 100 clams. You shook on it
It's
because
over.
you had it sandbagged.
It's over. Oh, I think it'll start right up. This is a lot better and easier than working on an engine when it's in a car, leaning over the fenders, dropping wrenches on things. Yeah, this is a lot better. It'll start. You got timing gap?
When we got the fuse in it and I hit the key, it was just like the first time. It started right up. I mean, I bumped it, I whispered on it. Daren owes me money. He made the bet didn't change. I won, he lost. Look at that. Before I even touch it, before I touch the distributor, I'll show you how far off I am. 12 degrees. 12, you see that? Build a motor from scratch, put it together, plumb it, set the timing, the plugs, the wires, get it all ready to start, fire it up, and be within 12 degrees of the correct factory timing. I should have a halo and wings. I am a bit pompous when it comes to my mechanical abilities, okay? I put a lot of 440s, 383s, 340s, 318s. I put all of them together. Even built a couple of Hemis in my day. So when I tell you I'm gonna set that motor on the money, I'm gonna set that motor on the money. I was off 12 degrees on the initial timing.
You know, I think Mark's has been sniffing way too much exhaust fumes here in the shop, because 12 degrees on the timing is quite a bit off.
It ran.
The engine will still run, but that's not like having it right on. You know, 12 degrees is a lot.
12 degrees ain't nothing. Next time you want to figure out how to do that, I'll be teaching
You
a
gonna
class.
help me? You gonna help me with mine?
Take one of my Saturday classes.
I'm glad it worked out. It'd be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier now. We put it in the car. It's gonna work, right?
It's beautiful.
No leaks.
Love it. Doing the initial fire up on the easy run is like a no-brainer now. There's no reason to put the engine in the car, crank it over to find out that the valve covers are puking or the freeze plugs are leaking or that the oil pan's leaking or who knows what it could be, but you've got to take it all back out of this beautifully done car. And every time you put a motor in and take it out, as I've said many times, you run the risk of doing damage. Put it on the K-member, marry the transmission to it, put the rest of the front suspension on it, lower the car.
A lot different in the old days, huh?
Any good against karate? How about jujitsu? What do you want, fool?
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
What are you gonna do, bad boy? Okay, hey. No, you mother. Okay, I'm gonna let you lead this one off.
What are we talking about?
I think we had a terrific week. I'm very happy with the way
How
things went.
do you call it a good week?
Holly got an opportunity to follow Josh around and disassemble the rear axle assembly and brakes and leaf springs for the Cook's Barracuda.
You forget who she's working with, Josh.
I could have gave you the
Find
job, and
parts
all I would have
in
done
the
was found you
dumpster.
laying upside down like Bugs Bunny underneath one of those cars with those buck teeth sticking out like you do when you take your nap. We got the V21 installed on the Challenger hood, which is awesome. What's the V21?
The hood treatment blackout.
Uh-huh. What option doesn't your fender tag have on it?
V21.
Yeah. Got the hood put on, that's good too. Got the hood with the V21 put on the
Looks
Challenger.
good.
It looks awesome. In addition to that, we got the sunroof working, the amazing, very rare
took you a
factory
week.
sunroof. Should have took a year.
Took you a week.
Should have took a year.
Get that thing working. I
Oops.
don't know what the problem is.
Oops, there it is. And one of the coolest things we did this week was we got the 440 running for the sunroof car on the new Easy Run engine stand, which you got to admit is a great piece of equipment. Absolutely going to save us
that
a lot of
reminds me.
misery.
You owe me $100.
I don't owe you $100 for your stupid game.
It didn't start, did it?
It did start.
No, we
no. The
bet
point
right
is
then,
that
it start.
no, you disconnected the
It
coil
doesn't
wire.
matter what happened.
Well, you're canal water. It does matter.
Did it run when you said it would for $100?
Yes.
No, it didn't.
It ran the exact way I said it would run under the exact circumstances.
No, $100.
No, I don't owe you $100, and I'm not going to pay you $100.
You're gonna pay one way or another. You're gonna pay.